What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning to another episode of Right on Cue Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Logan Chestnut, Small Batch Barbecue. Joining me tonight is my barbecue brother, Mr. AJ Johnson, with the Norada Barbecue team. What's up, AJ?
What's up? What's up, man? Well, you know good.
I'm having one of these
Trying
after this weekend, dude. I am
to wind down after a fun-filled, packed weekend.
it was,
Barbecue.
dude, it was a blast. And you know, the weather was projected to be poopy, and it turned out okay.
It turned out great.
It did turn out good. I was kind of surprised at how good it is, and I definitely have enjoyed my Memorial Day weekend. It was I feel like today's Sunday. I feel like, oh crap, tomorrow's Monday. Got to get going, and I don't know, man. I can't get back in the swing of things.
Yeah, it takes a little while. I mean, we'll get back in the swing of it for sure.
Well, dude, I hadn't cooked barbecue in a while, and this is like riding a horse, man. I sucked at it when I started, and I suck at it still. But it was a good time though. I had fun seeing a lot of people I usually don't see throughout the year. Got to see a lot of our guests that we've had on the show, Brother Bill, and a lot of people. Got a lot of calls this weekend, so it was fun, man. Met some new people. It was crazy the reach that KCBS Invitational and stuff brings in.
Oh yeah, man. I'm glad to see them, kind of vamp it up a little bit and trying to invite the public, man. So that that was a good thing to see Saturday to have the public come out and just walk around and get involved. So I think it was a good addition.
Dude, Saturday was nuts. I freaking I went and stayed the night at my friend's house Friday night, and come back Saturday. I couldn't get into the damn event hardly. It was like packed.
Yeah.
With they had that car show up front with the Fast
Rice
and Furious. Yeah, Rice Rockets, Fast Tokyo Drift going on up there. And then the huge barbecue contest in the back, and the kids queued. Man, that was so cool. Miss Bailey, she kicked butt out there. I love watching her and Brian's kid and honestly, all the kids. I enjoyed watching them do it, and I appreciate Weber Grills for sponsoring that and providing them all with their own little grill.
Yep, kids are the future of barbecue, man. You gotta train them up, get them started early.
I can only imagine the scores that they're going to get whenever they work their way up, because it's just the amount of knowledge out there already is insane, and you see people that haven't been in the game very long just right out the gate just kicking butt.
Oh yeah, easy. I mean, it's like you said, it's just so much information out there to get you started. Some people do good and take notes and do well, and some people don't. So
that's right. Well, let's do a recap of the weekend for me and you, and then our guest tonight. We'll definitely talk to him about his weekend. But I'll start off. You didn't cook the chicken and rib burn Friday night. I threw my hat in the ring there, and when it gets some heavy hitters, man. There's a lot of people. I know a lot of the big guys like Brad and them didn't do it, but and it's fun. I want to do it just to kind of you got to test yourself every once in a while and see kind of where you sit and
get a little tune up.
Yeah, man. I honestly had zero, thoughts that I would thank you that I would get any calls henceforth while I left.
Right.
Even awards. Yeah. So as soon as I pulled a Logan, and as soon as I did turn-ins, I'm like, all right, guys, I need a bed and a freaking shower, because my bed broke and I was inebriated, and instead of fixing it, what do? Of course, I hulk out and we rip that beast off the damn wall. So that was fun at late at night. I always love it when you're like feeling pretty good and you're about to go in your trailer and get your bed ready, and then your bed's broke.
Be like, sucks.
yeah, man. I put the rage in the cage, and it was rough. I was pissed. I was not happy, but like you said, man, good friends like you and Pat helped me take that bad boy out, and you're like, we can fix it. I'm like, rip it out.
Bigger and better things to come, man. Bigger and better things to come.
Oh yeah, I actually need to buy me a futon or something.
There you go.
But no, man. So got the call. I was watching the awards online. Then heard my name and 7th place. So I was like, man, that's an honor to get your name called among all those people. And shout out to Pat from Lila-Q, man. Kicking, he's on fire this year, dude. He's
On
always
fire.
He's been a little, I don't know, I wouldn't say slump because he's never been a slump, but he went on a little streak without hearing his name called very as regularly as he should. And then this year he's just turned it around and he's killing people.
Oh yeah. Just like I told him Friday night, man, he's the most lower person in barbecue, you know, just like I said, he was on a roller coaster, you know, could have quit, didn't give up, just keep going after, man, and it's paying off for sure.
Well, remember you said whenever you started doing barbecue that like every contest you rolled up, you saw him up, you're like, crap.
Oh yeah. Every contest when I first started, man, Lila-Q was guaranteed top 3, no matter what. I mean, he was, you know, the guy to beat. And
Him
still
and
is,
Russ.
you know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Him, Russ, Hicker Hangover. I mean, you see them guys pull up, you're like, dang it. You know?
No, those guys, they're silent assassins, man. They still roll up and lay it down.
Oh yeah.
So man, that was in ribs. I don't know, man. Middle of the pack, average, but I can't get consistent with ribs. You cook Saturday, so tell me about the cook Saturday.
Man, the cook Saturday, cook went great. You know, my first time cooking brisket. First off, I just want to say big props to all the pro guys. You know, cooking by themselves, man, is definitely a lot harder than I thought. Getting up early, you know, cooking all 4 meats by yourself. But, you know, chicken, you know, scored decent, 173. Ribs and pork kind of fell off the mark. Didn't score what I wanted, but brisket, you know, it scored a 173 also. Was pleased with those 2 meats, you know, for showing, you know, my first time cooking a 4 meat. Can't complain. Saturday, you know, kind of turned it around. Got a 4th place chicken call, 178, and 15th place ribs with a 174. So I was happy with that, man. Definitely turned around from last year and just had a good time. Can't complain.
No, it was a great time. I was kind of sad I didn't cook it this year. Honestly, I should have, but I was like, man, with all the stuff I got going on, I was like, I'll take the day to kind of ease back and watch all my friends, and I'll cheer them on from the shadows. But it was a great cook. Huge. Just some drama at the awards, man. It was like who you thought was going to win. I mean, dude, Ryan.
Oh,
I mean, that dude cooked damn near a perfect cook. Perfect. 178.9, a 180, and just fell short in brisket. But I mean, I thought he had it in the bag, and then out of nowhere, meet me in St. Louis, could pull through and pulled that off. Or was that was day one? What? Yeah.
They won on Saturday for the Open.
Yeah, I mean, that was a nice guy. Shout out to them, man. Congratulations. That was their first world champion chip, and big shout out to him and his dad are super nice guys. Talked to them many times, just salt of the earth guys. It's always nice seeing guys like that take one home. And then who won the invitation? Scuttlebutt?
Yes, Scuttlebutt won the Invitational, and I think Rooters and Tutors RGC, I think.
I mean, that's another team just won't ever go away. They're always going to be top 5.
Oh yeah.
No, and well, let's go down to the backyard, man. Backyard. Last year, let's a little bit. This is the revenge year for you, man. Last year, you got your ass kicked a little bit.
Oh yeah,
I mean a lot.
I was ready to sell everything last year when I left Lebanon. Hurt my feelings a little bit.
got on the fields, man. Got on the fields. No, man, you did fantastic, dude. You 5th chicken, right? Or 5th ribs?
4th chicken, 15th ribs, and 4th overall.
Man, what a great cook, man. Congratulations on that. I got my chicken call. But 256, man. We showed up and showed out, man. This is the year finally that we made some noise. Usually we always bomb.
Oh yeah, like the big contest just don't know, man. Always do it.
I mean, team of the year, we're great, and then the big contest, we just kind of poop our pants for some reason. But this year, we dominated the top of the charts, and I was ecstatic to see that for sure. And a big shout out to friends of ours, Hickory Hangover, with a fantastic cook, and then of course our good friends Brian and Peepaw over there at Electro Cuties.
Let your cuties.
For their first Tennessee GC. And if you're
First
going to do
big
it,
check.
this is the way to do it. I mean, those guys are unstoppable, especially for as little as they've been doing this, but just killing the game, absolutely killing it. So big shout out to those guys, 256 bringing it back, and Wade Backyard show up and show out at the comp this weekend. And also congratulations to KCBS, man. They really stepped their game up this year, getting the public involved, and it was good. I had a blast. It was a complete 180 from what it was last year. Last year was kind of chill, and it felt kind of like any other big comp, but this year was definitely more public involvement, and some great food, great vendors. Blinky, shout out Blinky, man. Cooked some fantastic food. If you ever get a chance to try his stuff, highly recommend it. That my whole pork was on fire. But and also shout out to our friends TNS barbecue comp team. He said they're still on the road from the long weekend, but he's us in his truck. So man, we appreciate you and appreciate you listening to the show. And it was a pleasure meeting you and your wife. But yeah, man. So let's round it out. It's kind of a long intro for the show tonight, but this is a show that I've kind of wanted to talk about because it's kind of like peering back behind the curtain and seeing how the magic gets made. Where as a barbecue cook, we don't think about it. We're just like, well, there's comps for showing up, but not many people actually know what it takes behind the scenes to put on one of these competitions. And luckily for us, we have one of our dear friends and sponsor of the show, fantastic friend and an even better cook, our friend Gareth with Brothers Q Barbecue Supply. And this man puts on some of the best backyard comps in the country, and especially in the state of Alabama. So, I mean, you got to bring the big guns on to let us know how it is. So, without further ado, welcome to the stage, Mr. Gareth from Brothers Barbecue Supply. What's up, Big Sexy?
What's up, guys?
What's happening?
You sound a lot prettier. Yeah, a lot prettier, man. I know. Hell no, man. I'm tired as hell. I'm like, all right, sweet day off. I'm gonna freaking sleep in late. And then all of a sudden I hear my daughter texting and talking. I'm like, who in the heck is she talking to? And she's over here talking with AJ's daughter at like 6:15 in the morning. I'm like, oh, hell no.
Yeah.
And I know Bailey don't wake up. She's not a morning person. So I don't know how they linked that up, but that was impressive. And but no, man, it's good. I'm tired. I'm still tired. I'm old.
Yeah.
And it takes a little longer to recover nowadays.
It does, man. That was a brutal weekend because Bo graduated at 9:30 Friday, graduated kindergarten, and so I had to haul Boogie up there and trying to get everything prepped. Ribs and chicken just was not my strong point. I was kind of like you were talking about earlier, AJ. I was ready to sell everything Friday night and just come home.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Get over with.
Yeah, then Saturday brisket imploding on me. It was just everything that could go wrong was going wrong, and it takes a mental toll on you as well as a physical, and it just finally Sunday morning, man, me and Bill talked about it, and I'm like, everything's going way too smooth. Everything's clicking. It's way too smooth. Logan had DJ Logan here was jamming with everybody and had a little kid dancing, and everybody was having a good time, and it was probably one of the funnest comps I've been to Sunday. I'll say that. KCBS really did roll out the red carpet. Saturday was a lot more work on everybody just because you're having to deal with the public, everything you're having to go through. But Sunday was so chill, and having the shuttles running, everything, little stuff like that, man. I felt like we got our money's worth Sunday. When the dust settled, our scores, the scores in our cook didn't really reflect what we did in the standings. When we started looking back at it, I was like, dude, we scored a 170 on chicken, 32nd place. It's hard to gripe about that. You turned in good and just a big stacked field. Shout out to everybody who got a call. I mean, if you got a call this weekend, you earned it 100%.
Yeah. They really like that Panda King orange chicken from me. So I appreciate that. No, man, and I thank you for giving me a shout out to my DJ skills. I mean, a lot of people don't know I'm an excellent podcaster, a beautiful model, and a hell of a barbecue cook. But on my side gigs at the barbecue council, I bust out my DJ chops, and I know everybody there appreciates it just as much as I do, especially early in the morning when they bust out Lion King.
That's
to wake
right.
everybody up. I mean, you know what?
You had a lot of attendance for that too. You had a lot of participation with the Lion King when it went off. It was pretty fun.
I did. It was magical. My boy TNS, he showed up and had me a little my squad from DC. They were throwing down with me whenever I was getting my little EDM. I don't know if Bill appreciated it as much as you did, but we had a good time.
Bill said he was looking forward to the ride home with an audiobook. So take that for whatever it's worth.
My wife says I got a voice for headphones. But no, man, it was a blast. But I'm there by myself, and had my buddy Cotton help me out. Sunday. Houston's been a busy man. I can't wait to get him back on the trail and back on the pod, man. But man, it's hard. Like AJ said, man, it's hard cooking these things alone, and especially when you're. We were very blessed for our location. I mean, I think the Jason, all those guys. I mean, they showed us some big love in our location because some of those guys were in a different zip code. And I mean, I'm not kidding you guys. I bet it. Some of the guys on the outskirts. I mean, what 6-minute walk?
Every bit of it.
And then you got to go back. And I'm like, that kills you, especially if you're by yourself. I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
That would have been
our first year cooking smoke on the shores. We got the redheaded stepchild treatment, like everybody else usually gets. And we were off on the backside. I mean, standing water, had smokers up on blocks to keep water from getting at them. I mean, it was brutal that Friday. But, the next year, man, they just kind of moved us on in to some better spots. And, this year they got us in a primo spot. And I guess it's ours till we screw it up and lose it or don't go. So, it's worth going just to keep the spot.
That's right.
For sure, man. That's like some VIP treatment. No, and we didn't have Lake KCBS this year. That was also last year we had lakefront property. It was awesome. It was awesome.
All weekend.
You had Lake KCBS was over there by Big James and electrocuted, but that may have been self-induced.
Well, that's true. That's true. No, but I mean, dude, somebody in Lebanon don't know what the hell a grade is at all. They're like those people who did that concrete and whoever did your roof on your freaking trailer, AJ, went to the same school because, dude, AJ took off in his trailer. I'm like, good God, that's like a waterfall, man. If you ever had a hole in your ceiling,
it'd be bad.
You'd have a pond in your trailer.
Yeah,
because when you took off, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that's a good thing that trailer doesn't leak. So maybe I need to start putting an angle on that thing when I setting it up.
Dude, something I'd be like my wife's like, why does your trailer in the back kind of look like it's leaning some? I'm like, that's good stuff. That's why there's no water there.
Yeah.
But but absolutely. But no, man, fantastic. It was a fantastic contest. Got to see our friend of the pod, Sunny Moody. She was there doing a live fire demonstration. I think she helped out with the kids queue, and but man, all around it was a fun weekend. That band Saturday night was rocking. I mean, I'm not sure they're like, this is some bull crap because there wasn't nobody over there under the thing. But I mean, all of us that are at our campers and tents and whatever, we were all loving the music. So man, definitely big shout out to them but yeah, great contest all around. Speaking of great contests, Gareth, I mean, you have hosted and put on a few of these bad boys, and I'm sure. I mean, I can't imagine putting one on this scale. It's a lot of work goes into this, and so kind of tell people, kind of the whole ABC of these big barbecue contests.
Well, we started with our first one was 7 teams, so we have had a real slow break-in period with this. We went from 7 to I think 15, maybe 17 the next year. Then we got up around that 30 range, and that's where we've been hanging. So we didn't really have a trial by fire, and I'm grateful for that. But these guys, biggest thing I learned is you either got to have a worthy cause starting out, you got to have a charity that everybody will get behind. And I'm not talking about just teams. I'm talking about your public, your judges, your reps have to believe in your calls. If you can find a worthy cause, they'll get behind it and get the buy-in from your organization and your family. You got to have the buy-in from your family. God knows my wife has been ready to kill me more times than once on these, but she's always a good sport and comes and helps out. Community engagement, that's why we started small. We wanted to see what kind of engagement we could get from the community. And at the time, we were piggybacking a large festival that was, it was 2021. We were just coming out of COVID. Everybody was ready to get out of the house. So it was perfect time for us to start with this. And I think we did rib sales that year. And I think it was like 120 slabs of ribs we sold just to the public walking in. And all we did was a rib burn. Then we bounced into KCBS next year. And moved away from that event for the simple fact it's the same weekend as Scottsboro. And we knew it was hurting us on the teams. And we didn't want to compete with a 20-plus year competition.
Sure.
Tim and them do a great job. And we're not in this to hurt each other. We need to help each other. And so when we moved to May, it was a huge leap of faith. I made a comment earlier about AJ. We reached out. My wife was doing Facebook stalking, and that's where the buy-in from your family comes. She was doing Facebook stalking, and she's like, "Hey, you need to reach out to this team right here." And it was just kind of a kindred spirit. We hit it off, and he came, and and he brought some heavy hitters with him, and that was probably the biggest lesson I learned right there. Is you get a few of the key teams that are traveling and cooking every other weekend, and just ask them. That's the way I learned. I just asked. I said, "What do we need to do here?" If I had a stupid, crazy idea, I'd call AJ. Or shoot him a text and say, "What do you think?" And he'd be like, "No, I wouldn't do that." I'd skip that step if I were you. And you got to listen to these teams. And now we've got 30-plus comps under our belt. So it helps a lot knowing what you see in other areas. Like my hat's off to Miss Joyce from St. Bernard, because if there's a competition in North Alabama, she is there. She is asking questions. She values the input from the teams. And her comp in Coleman is probably going to turn into one of the premier comps in North Alabama. And she's got great facility. Definitely. So, that was my biggest lesson I learned, is either start cooking and learn from all these different competitions. And don't look for the successes, look for the failures. Because the successes, if you're avoiding all these failures and taking notes, you're going to be successful. Because you're going to do everything the right way. Team recruitment, man, she is passing. She's passing out cards. She's doing everything. I know Brian, like Sunday, Brian stuck around for awards with Fort Mary Sauce, and I was like, "Dude, now's the time to get out of here." And he said, "Miss Joyce told me that if any of her people got a call, she wanted a picture of it." So to be that engaged is what it takes. It's not, we've all cooked comps. I'm not going to call any out, but we've all cooked comps where you can tell they were doing it by flying by the seat of their britches, doing the bare minimum, throwing money at something, thinking that's going to pull teams. And when you get there, everything is trash. No water on site. You're put in the mud over here. You're having to get pulled out. Everything could go wrong is going wrong. And from the time you pull up, to me, in my opinion, your mood's determined as a team by how you're treated when you pull in the parking lot. And if you're treating these teams, hey, we appreciate you coming down. We're putting you here. If you got any problems, call me. And taking care of issues as they arise, good news is going to travel fast, but bad news always seems to travel faster. And in this industry, it don't take but one or two bad moves, and you get a reputation.
It's sad though, because in KCBS in general, we've had a streak here of losing some fantastic contests.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad to see, and it's kind of still scary for me a little bit, because for a while, we had like a domino effect. It's like you lose one, like we lost Smoking for Garrett in Southern Illinois, and that was a fantastic contest that I enjoyed a lot, and also for a great cause. We almost lost Pusaque, and I'm hoping we don't going forward. There's just so many great contests. that you lose. And so you want to see, the ones that are still there, you want to support them. Cause I mean, like I said, without contest and without, judges and stuff, I mean, we don't have no, we have nothing to do.
That's
so, right. I mean, I've definitely, the more I do this, the more I try not to take for granted, the people like you and people like Jason and Eric and people, like Joyce and all that stuff that put these, wonderful contests together. Just, it takes a ton of work, and that's why I'm kind of excited. So I've always wanted to, since I've been doing this, put on a contest in our area, Right on Cue Invitational or something like that, or Right on Cue Classic or something. Kind of walk me through, so like the major steps to get that to happen. So obviously you have to get sanctioned by the KCBS and figure out if you're going to be backyard pro or both, right?
Yes, that is correct. I would say the first step that made me successful is I found reps that I liked and I meshed well with. And before I even thought about sanctioning an event, I started reaching out to these reps and talking to them. Mm-hmm. They look at the calendar, they talk to the teams, they talk to the judges. I mean, in my opinion, you are crazy to schedule a comp when you've got, say, 4 in September and you've got 3 the back end of October that have been established for 2 or 3 plus years. You are crazy to try and put a comp on the first weekend in October because everybody is burnt out. They need that break. It's on the schedule for a break. So timing to me is everything. And if you speak with these reps, speak with these teams, figure out what you want to do. Backyard is definitely the easy button. We tried doing a Master Series 2 years ago. We tried adding that, and we were doing a $5,000 payout guaranteed, and it was going to be progressive once we hit 15 teams and it become a qualifier. I mean, we were looking at like almost every penny of entry fee was going to go back into the payout. And man, I think Shannon Graham was one of them that said he'd cook up. He'd come to it and cook up. Craig and Bridget said they'd cook. I mean, there was just a handful of people, maybe 5 people total, that I could count on. And I couldn't get emails returned or phone calls returned. So when we decided to shift focus and just stay on backyard, I realized how easy a backyard comp is to actually organize. So when you talk with your reps and you nail down a time period, and then you approach KCBS, I mean, it's as simple as filling out a sanctioning paperwork, sending it in. Sherry, Audrey, those ladies in the office, dude, they are easy to work with. And they will bend over backwards to help you.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead. I got you.
No. So like, say, I'm putting on the Right on Cue Classic, right? Submit my paperwork. I figure out if it's going to be pro and backyard or just backyard. Like when I contact KCBS and inform them that send my paperwork in, do they assign me a date, or do I kind of get to pick a date, or like, hey, these dates are open? Because I mean, you got the primo dates, so like early on the season, that's a primo date that it's easier to fill up, and then kind of like the early part of the second part of the year when people are still points chasing. It's all based on points chasing. I feel like for a lot of people, the ones that are going to grind and do as much as they can. You do that, and then you make sure you're not competing against another tournament that's within, 150 mile, 200 mile radius?
KCBS says 150 miles. What they ask of you on a new contest is that you send in 3 dates. And then now Sherry and Audrey, they're not the ones that make the decision. It goes to the board, and the board has to vote on it and approve it. So the board will look at those 3 dates, and they'll either approve you for one or they'll approve you for all 3 and let you pick. And we've been fortunate to be approved for the main one we wanted every time. But they'll work with you on that aspect. And there's a lot that comes into play. I mean, I guess it was last year, the first year we did it in May.
Yep.
They approved a comp in Mobile the same weekend as ours. They approved a 1 meet pork in Birmingham, which was 47 miles from venue to venue. So, I mean, they will let other comps happen in that area.
Mm-hmm.
But, again, it goes back to team engagement. If you've got the team engagement, the relationships, they're going to come cook yours.
Mm-hmm. What's the fee, if you don't mind me asking? Like,
you're Backyard, it's tiered fees. So backyard, I believe, is $250 for a sanctioning fee that you pay up front, and then it's either $7 or $10 per team. And then you pay rep fees. And I mean, our rep fees, we cover their lodging, we rent them an Airbnb, and the bigglers coming from Huntsville, I think it runs maybe $150 for their meals and their mileage. So obviously, picking reps close to your area is key. Miss Joyce had an issue.
Reps?
I did. You're supposed to put down 2 sets of reps. And my first one I sanctioned, I put bigglers for rep set number 1. I put the bigglers for rep set number 2. And so, I mean, it was kind of that's who I wanted. That's who I built a relationship with. And
right.
They coached me along. But I mean, I'm not taking away. There's some great reps, especially in the Tennessee area. There's some great reps up there. But that you're supposed to have 2 reps. If not, if you don't have a rep, don't worry about it. They will assign the one closest to you that's available.
I got you.
Several ways.
I got you.
Several ways to skin that cat.
Yeah. So we turn it in, and we're picking out our dates. I mean, obviously, if you can get it earlier in the year, it's better. Early, or I guess be early spring to June. I mean, those are the primo dates, and then the later dates will be like September, October. I mean, those are also primo dates, but you're competing against established, light contests. So I mean, that's kind of hard. Okay, so once you get your fee in and your dates, and then what's after that? What would I do next?
Once you're approved, man, that's when the grind starts. The rest of it's easy. That's when I'm blowing up teams with emails, text messages, phone calls, every social media outlet there is, hitting teams. I'm recruiting teams, and I'm looking for the teams that are in the top 10 because they're the ones that have the most on the line right now. And they're going to start pushing people and calling their buddies saying, hey, let's go cook this one. Because what do they want? They want 35 teams there. They want a max bonus. So we chased that side. We used to, you may be in a different dynamic up in the Murfreesboro area. You may have good luck if you were to host one up there, recruiting local teams, first timers. We have not had good luck with first timers. So we put our first year or two, we put a lot of emphasis on that, and it did not pay off. So know your area. A great one is a butcher shop. Y'all have some of the best butcher shops, in my opinion, in the United States right there in Murfreesboro. You get tied in with them, they love getting behind this stuff. And they will send you more. They would send you more opportunity and more teams than probably any marketing strategy you would ever have. That's the key I've seen. We struggle in that area. We've got a great grocery store, but that's the extent of what we got. So getting with your local influencers, I guess is the right word there. Finding a sponsor that's willing to front the dang money for the payout. That's the biggest struggle. If you can get the payout taken care of, you get that off your back, man, it's so much easier to focus on doing a good comp. We're fortunate to have a couple of guys that help us with generators to where all we have to do is cover fuel and any labor involved with the setup. That's about a $3,000 a year or a comp saving for us. Finding restaurants, the fish fry that we do on Friday night, that's a huge hit. We got people asking, are you going to do that? Is AJ cooking fish? And it's a big thing.
AJ cooking fish.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think people will live and die on that hill now. And so having a niche, it's easy to do a potluck. Potlucks are great. Don't get me wrong. They're great. But when they see a team taking the time to cook and you guys come together, if I'm Slam, there's a group of 5 or 6 of y'all, man, y'all just make it happen. And y'all enjoy doing it. And the teams see that. And I go back to this a lot. That's the love that grandmama used to talk about putting into the food. And the team, and I feel like the teams see that love that's put into that potluck. And so just having that little niche, establishing year over year, it's going to be here regardless. We're going to do it. I mean, we did it one year and it cost me money. But this past year, we had a sponsor come through and he said, I've got it. Don't worry, your fish and fries will be here. And then he turned around and wrote another check to even it out to where he donated $1,000. So he's seen it. He was there last year on a Friday night. He come by, he judged some ancillaries that night, and he just come by and seen the fish fry and seen the camaraderie. And he said, I believe in it. So that's your next step, is finding people who believe in your cause. And most importantly, they got to believe in you. You got to follow through with everything you tell them you're going to do. And once you get those few hurdles taken care of, I mean, you've got people like Miss Joyce who has a network. She can send out an email to 100 people and have 75 sponsors in a week. They may just be $100 sponsors. They may be $10,000 sponsors. We don't have that here. And so we try to focus on sponsors that we can get the best bang for our buck out of. You know, don't get me wrong. We love the people that want a banner for $100. We love them. We need them. If I had 100 of them, I wouldn't fool with big sponsors.
Right.
But the problem is I usually have 3 or 4. And so we have to get out here and try and find somebody that's willing to do the $500 to $1,000 sponsors. We have learned that if we structure our entry fees to cover everything involved with the KCBS side, payout, rep fees, sanctioning fees. If we can structure our entry fees to cover that and break even there, I call it a success. Because it makes it a whole lot easier if a team looks and goes, man, you had a $2,500 payout. That's a trash payout. Well, you can roll out the spreadsheet and say every penny that you guys paid in went back into KCBS.
Yeah.
It makes it a whole lot easier that when you do hit that 45 to 50 teams, you can kind of keep making it a progressive payout, which is what we do. We've got a number. Once we hit 35, payout goes up. We take a percentage. It's right at like 72% of the entry fee goes back into the payout then. And y'all, as well as I do, an extra 5 teams. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Oh,
you know, you're paying out more places. And so it's having that. KCBS does make you do a prize guarantee, a letter of guarantee on the prize money. So you have to establish that up front. Something I have learned, we've always done $2,500 to $3,000. Well, I see a lot of these comps are doing like $1,200 to $1,500 on a prize payout. But when you go, they pay out $2,500 to $3,000. Well, they're covering themselves in case it flops. You know, doing damage control.
You're playing spades with your payout. You're
pretty much
trying to low ball it, and then then you know the higher, because I mean you would think, I mean obviously especially on the pro side, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. But backyard side, I mean a $5,000 payout is a bigger payout for backyard, and I mean pros that I know a lot of pro teams be like, but backyard, I mean, for backyard
category.
yeah, no backyard. That's a nice chunk of change for sure.
Yeah.
Is that like what's your minimum threshold you think for successful contests? Because I mean, you got to have something to make it worth people's trips. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to cook barbecue, but we gotta at least, it's like the gambler, and it's like we at least like want to know that there's an opportunity where we come out on this ahead, because it costs us a ton of money to come to these things. So I mean, the idea like, well, hey, I can leave here and come out a couple $100 on top. I mean, that's kind of the mentality of a lot of the barbecue cooks. So what's like the minimum threshold you think that like a contest would be to have it be worth some of these competitors' time?
As a cook, I look at it from this side. If my entry fee is more than 10% of the payout, I'm not coming to your event. So, I mean, we hit $2,500 per day and we're at $150 a day. So it makes it worth your while. If you hit, you're going to come out. You're going to put a little money in your pocket. But we've all been these comps where it costs us $250 to get an entry fee, and the prize pool was $1,900.
Yeah.
And you look at that. The math ain't math in there. And and that again, that's where I think a lot of organizers starting out, especially, they try to take bare minimum on the payout and make their money off the teams.
And
you get 1 year. No, you get 1 year. You get one shot. And that's kind of the way I am with new comps. I love supporting new comps. I'll give them one shot, but I'll make my mind up by turning in on Saturday if I'm ever coming back or not. And there's
Sure.
been a handful that I said I'll never be back.
Sure.
Oh,
Sure.
that's, like Shannon Graham, for instance, he kind of, when I first started this, he coached me along, and he flat out told me, he said, cooks make the best organizers. He said, you need to start cooking. You need to start cooking more often, and you'll see what I'm talking about. So I if you guys wanted to host a comp, I have full faith it would be an awesome comp. Y'all
Right.
got the experience with the cook side to know what guys want, and it's not always power. That's what I love about backyard. If you've got power, great. If it costs me $50, $75 for the weekend, even better. I'll take care of it. But if you tell me it's generator only, I'm good. We're running it.
Yeah.
The biggest thing, I think the biggest thing that I've learned is water. You got to have water there. You got to have it available. Even if you're telling people as you pull in, there's a water hose here, top off your tanks. Fill up your buckets or whatever. You got to have that. I think last year when we were in Aniana, at 10 o'clock every night when we shut everything down, I'm out there dragging a water hose around, letting people top their tanks off for 2 hours. That's what we did. And Bentley Q, Daniel Speakman, some of them, borrowing water hose from them because I dropped the ball on that side.
Mhm.
And just having that, you can see where it makes life easier. I know AJ, Logan, I think you do it too. You use whatever you got to clean up with through the day. And if you don't have access to water, if you don't have access to water, you're hurting.
Yeah, you're SOL for sure.
Well, usually, if you get friends with the organizer, he'll let you clean your dishes in the kitchen of the space
right.
you're in.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's exactly all you got to do is a little bit of labor on Friday night.
That's right.
All right. So we talked about entry fee and kind of payout as the and kind of getting the organization together. Payout's big. I mean, if you get a big enough payout, you don't have to do a lot of recruiting. People will come. But the next thing to do, the next biggest thing for me after payout is, and actually I think it's maybe before payout for me personally, is location.
100%.
Because some locations you go to, like I've literally not gone back to a contest that I actually really love, and they do a good job. It was because it's in the middle of a field, and if it's any moisture at all, you're stuck. And it's a mud pit, a mud pit, and like nice gravel area, or there's nothing like concrete's even better. That's why that's why Lebanon's such a fantastic spot. A, it's ginormous. B, it has all the infrastructure already in place, and C, it's just it's easy for especially like these big cook trailers and RVs and whatnot to get in and out. Because if you've ever been in one of these things and you're not doing pop-up tents, especially when you're pulling like a big trailer, like that's what you're thinking about. You're thinking about how in the hell am I cooked. So for instance, one of my favorite comps that I've been to was Bloomin' Barbecue Festival in Sevierville, Tennessee. It's a pro comp. Anybody who's listening to this show that cooks pro comps, 1000%. It's such a cool event, great place, love it. But that place, I remember first year I cooked it, scared the hell out of me when I was trying to park my fifth wheel. They're like, yeah, you see that sharp right turn right next to the courthouse? Yeah, you're gonna go up there and you make a right. I'm like, I got like a 35-foot trailer behind me, right, buddy? He said, and there's like, you got trailers on both sides and stuff like that. So that's hard. So if you can find like an RV park or camper park that's kind of it's slow season, and you can be like, hey man, this weekend, we'll rent you the whole thing out, cut me a deal. Something
and
like that.
And that happens, because Bill French, he always organizes the practice cook we do in February.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And this campground in Coleman, man, obviously from like spring break to October, there's no availability.
Mm-hmm.
But they would love to do something in the winter. And they'll tell you, here's your rate for 7 teams, here's your rate for 10 teams, here's your rate for 20 teams. And I'm going to tell you, man, it gets to where it can be a $30 to $40 a night discount once you get up in that 20 plus.
Sure.
So that's a big part of it. really
And
big part of it.
Fairgrounds is another great spot because I mean you've kind of tackled that. Like, so if you can find an RV park that's slow during the off season, because I mean let's be honest, if you're starting a new comp, I mean you're not going to have the pick of the litter when it comes to dates. So I mean if you had a comp that's like early in March or something like that, we're still cold and camping season's not fully kicked off. I mean, or late February maybe, I don't know, depending on where you are in the country. That may be something you look into, and that would, I mean, because that would cut off on your need for power and need for all, that kind of cuts into your stuff on that. Because I mean, A, you got full hookups, which is huge,
Right.
and B, it's already kind of pre-done. You just pay a fee and walk off. It's kind of turnkey, essentially.
Right. Well, you take Smoke on the Water, Gunnersville. Brandon and his team, they did this thing for, I don't know, I think it was 10 plus years, and then COVID kind of killed it. When we come back, dude, you had some of the same people that were working for the park that were involved on the front end of that thing. And they're like, tell us what you need. What do you need from us to make this happen? Because this was huge for us. And last year, Smoke on the Water, we were in, I think, C and D section, maybe right there at the turn in. Well, when they seen the turnout, they were freaking out because it's, you may have 4 50 amp spots there sharing 150 amp breaker because it's never at full capacity, and they were scared to death. So it was like playing Russian roulette when you were putting teams out there. Just waiting on which one's going to blow up or fry something. And so they come back. And as an organizer, you've got to listen to these guys and you got to value their input. And they said, we know it's a longer walk for your teams. Can you move to this section immediately to your left, F section? Everything's full hookup. Everything's dedicated 50 amp spots. We won't have any electrical issues. It's going to add about 2 minutes to your walk, depending on where you're at. But then they told us we could increase our shuttle count because last year they capped us on how many side-by-sides we could have. And so, I mean, they offered us an out for our move and our willingness to move. And so we obviously we signed the paperwork, and that's what we're going to do. We're moving to that section. I think there's 90 spots in that section. So it's allowing us to even bring in the Friday night Alabama Public Television series, Friday night and Saturday series. It's allowing us to combine all that into one spot and just make it a barbecue booyah that weekend in one spot. So
just make sure your music's off by 7:30 p.m. because people are sleeping then.
And I saw him last time. Joy and I went camping there for a weekend. He was there. And
did you tell him? Did you tell him I said?
No. It was like 7:45, and he walked into the bathhouse or walked out of the bathhouse that we were parked right next to. And I looked and I said, "Isn't it past your bedtime?" And he just kind of looked at me, and I just turned around, walked off, and went back in the camp. I mean, he looked like a mean guy, and I didn't have the butt to back up my talk that night. So,
I'm still mad I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Speaking of one meets, man, kind of walk us through, how that is different than just a regular competition and how much easier it is on you or whatnot, if you don't mind.
Well, in Tennessee, a one meet on the right weekend, it could probably have 35 to 40 teams. Because if you 6 or 8 hours is the closest Master Series or backyard comp, a lot of these guys are going to load up. They're going to load up a can and come cook whatever one meat you got going. $100 entry fee with $1,000 to $1,500 payout. They're all about it, especially if you're doing chicken or ribs. Because I mean, you're literally a half a day, you're done. Our area, it's a little bit tougher because as a cook, it's hard for me to run over here, drive an hour to cook a one meat when I can drive 2 and cook a full backyard. So they are the easier one to organize because you got one payout, one set of trophies, one set of rep fees. All the above make it a lot easier. But, I don't feel like if you're in an area where you can host a backyard or a Masters and you can get the teams, it's easy logistically for the teams to get there. I wouldn't start with a one meet personally. I think it's for someone just to get their feet wet. I mean, and that's what we did because I just needed to get my feet wet. And that's my 2 cents on it.
I love one meet. I mean, especially when it's on the day before. So I mean, just like invitational. I mean, it's you pretty much double your, especially like I was chasing chicken team of the year points last year, and having a chicken one meat it's always, I feel like with one meat it's always ribs. more times than not, it's always ribs. So like when I think it was you that had a chicken one meat. I was like, hell yeah, let's do this, because I never get to do that. But no, I mean that's a cool. That may be a way, was something I look into, especially because like the entry into that is a lot smaller than doing like a full on comp.
Right. And if you're, like I said, if you're just trying to get your feet wet and you want to do something right on cue, now I will tell you this, a lot of people don't realize this. If you label it invitational, no points are counted. So it's got to be open to everybody.
The classic.
The classic. I'm just telling you, because Rod and I, when we were trying to figure out what to name this fall series, APT wanted to call it an invitational, and he kept saying, if you call it an invitational, we're going to have to classify it as an invitational. So just keep that in mind as you start doing it. A lot of the verbiage, a lot of times people will major on the minor thing when it's not really an invitational. It's open to everybody.
Sure.
So
good deal. All right, so we got that. So we got we talked about how important location is and how important is that is at least have water availability to it.
Yes.
And dude, trash cans. I think trash cans is one of the most underrated things. I want to see more comps. Is more trash cans.
Yeah, and I'm guilty of that too. We struggle in that area.
At least a dumpster or a trash can, something that because. Otherwise, you just have a ton of, especially in like barbecue comp trash. It's smelly, and you'll have bugs, and it doesn't smell great. I'll say. So trash cans is something that I feel like is underrated. That needs to be at more comps, because I love the barrels, because I'll always steal me a barrel, and hell, I'll even replace the bag. I'm fine replacing the bag, but trash bag. Get the local prisoners involved. That's what I see a lot of people, a lot of comps do. Talk to your local county jail if you got one. I mean, that's fantastic. Resource for something like that. Cotton says he wants to see more trash bags in my trailer. You know what, Cotton? keep your mouth shut, boy. So you stay in the truck.
Yeah.
I'm like Papa. I am who I am.
That's right.
No, but trash, but when water hookups and location wise, because I know you need find a nice level area to have it. So a lot of people, if you don't have something like a convention center or a county fair or something like that, it's kind of hard, to get into. But that's the next thing. And then let's talk about the most important thing to have into account, because I want to talk about the TV deal that you're talking about, the trophies. That is that's something that, I literally got on a contest just for the trophy. I don't even really care about the payout, and that's how bad it is. If you have a cool enough trophy, the payouts don't matter as much. You gotta have one or the other. You gotta be, hot or have a good personality. If you got both, it's a slam dunk. But
agreed.
Yeah, but the trophies is cool. So let's talk about what your thoughts on trophies are.
Well, our first year we did cutting boards. We ordered them online, and they were cool. They were real cool cutting boards. And
I got one right there.
I think both of y'all got a couple.
Yeah, we do.
But look at him, all his barbecue glory back there.
AJ.
We had a local tin shop or cabinet shop that I went to, and I said, "Can y'all just price making these for me?" And she come back and she said, "How about we just do this?" And that's the trophies we have now. She designed me one, and I was like, "Those are cool. They don't take up a lot of room. They just kind of, kids love them."
Oh yeah, they're all my trophies from years in my kids' room.
Yeah, so it's Keating Helms told me for like a week, kids were using trophies. They loved them. I forget who it was. Somebody else had called me and said, "Oh, it was Spencer. Jury's out." He said, "My daughter has slept with her trophy for a week." So it's they love them, and for the it maybe cost us about $800 to do all our trophies for the weekend. So. You have to take costs in consideration when you're starting out. But to me, if you skimp on trophies, I'm done. I mean, you know, we'll. What up, Sloth? Welcome back. If you skip out on trophies, I'm probably not coming back. You know, and I've cooked one comp where they gave you a dang certificate, an 8.5 by 11 certificate, and that's all you got.
I know that.
Really? I'm like,
Well,
really?
it's,
That yarbled?
Well, it's better than getting no trophy, even when you win
Yeah.
Grand Champion.
Yeah.
Simmons one.
Well, that's I think too.
Here's your $25 and a ham sandwich. Congratulations, buddy, on your weekend well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that to me that seems like the MO for a lot of these comps that I look into, especially. And I'm not knocking these guys, but you get down in Florida, dude. If you go down there in GC and you're not going to make enough money to cover your fuel down there and back, you know, much less your entry fee and the 4 meats you got to buy, it's hard to pull teams, you know. And you get up in this area, you do a cool trophy and $150 entry fee, and dude, people are coming. And you know, I love Foley. This was our first year to cook Foley, and we were, you know, gracious and we were blessed enough to have a good finish down there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the coolest trophies I've ever got.
Yeah.
And
Trophy
awesome. Yeah, and I love the fact that next year it's the metal ones, the little they're cut out metal.
Well,
yeah.
Man, right here.
AJ has a selection. He's a connoisseur. Oh,
right
yeah, those are badass.
Yeah. And the thing is that they have a local art program that paints them every year, and it's the same grade that paints them. So you'll never have the same trophy twice. And to me, that it's worth the drive just for that.
I'll tell you what, Glencoe is one of my favorites, and they always have really cool trophies, especially the Iron Man.
Yeah,
those are always badass. So I mean, big shout out, Sloth, man. You put fantastic trophies. I'm trying to think. What are some of your favorite trophies you've gotten or seen, Garrett? Like obviously what's some of the most famous outside of World Championships? Obviously, everybody knows Memphis and May Trophy. Like I would make sweet love to that thing. The Royal. I mean, that's a fantastic trophy. But I mean, those are big. Barrel heads from the Jack. But what are some of the contests you've been to? You've seen some of the coolest trophies.
Pussycue, man.
Yeah.
And a Pussycue is
hands
down. Step them down. They're not as big as they used to be, but they're still pretty awesome.
Yeah,
dude, they're still better than majority of the contests out there.
Yeah, and we got a local
with
the peaches, the blown peaches,
the blown peaches, man. Gosh,
and then the OG where they got the apple from Murfreesboro. I mean, that's one of those trophies that you just outside of a major. It's that's the trophy. I know a lot of people that wouldn't even care if they didn't give money away at that thing. Yeah. They just want a damn apple.
Yeah.
Well, I think the one that I get the most compliment on and talk about in our area is Smoke on the Water with the fire helmets and the lids. Yes. It seems like people love them. And this year, GC and RGC may or may not have a full-blown fire hydrant.
Wow.
That is in the works. So, there's stuff like that, and there's a local comp in Albertville, a 1 meet non-sanctioned comp, where if you win it, you get a brand new fire hydrant from Mueller. And so, I mean, Cody won it last year. He beat me by like 2 points. And there we go. See, I mean, they're so awesome. They're so the helmets are so awesome, and the badges on the front of them. They're great. And so that's kind of what we've set our bar to with Smoke on the Water is we're going to, they said, why do people want used fire lids? And I'm like, dude, if you'll cut the liners out of this and have somebody personalize, it was worn by so-and-so on these dates. That's right there. What Smoke on the Mountain Galax just said. I mean, to me, those are some of the coolest awards in barbecue. Smoke on the Shores. Those are cool, but we're just not at the point where we can step up to that level.
Oh, no, we're not taking anything. We're not taking anything away from your contest. They just, trophies is always something that people love talking about. There's some fantastic ones out there throughout the country. The guitars, the Smoke on the Shore, the fiddles at Smoke on the Mountain Galax. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
I know you guys are stoked about that one. What's some of the other ones people are saying? Let's see.
Yeah, that's mainly one of the reasons why I'm going to Galax is to try to win one of them fiddles, man, and just be in the area. But
Man.
hey, speaking of Garrett competition,
Dude, that's what you need more of. Like, I want more WWE championship belts.
Yeah,
be like this.
That was a fantastic. Yes, that's a fantastic idea. Walk around there. Yeah.
Well, we do the covered bridge and we put your nameplate on it, and it's going to be in the multi-use center. It's going to be there. Chad, my cousin, he's building the platform for it now, and so it's going to be sitting there. Something you cruising through, headed on vacation or whatever, and got the kids with you or friends with you. You can pull in there and check it out.
Yeah, those skulls at BBQ, man, was awesome.
Yeah.
So they're saying it right there. BBQ is out in the middle of nowhere, and people go, and it fills up for the trophies. So there's a good for instance.
If you're an artist or an artist, have somebody put something cool together. I mean, everybody loves. I mean, you got the bowling ball trophies. We got they're cool. These were kind of cool. It's like the sheer down kind of Memphis and May style. Those are badass. But I mean, like you said though, these trophies, they're not cheap. I mean, and I can only imagine like some of the extravagant ones, what they run. The axes, that was awesome. But no, man, it's. I mean, as long as you give something away, it just depends on what you want to do. Like you said, if you want to be known for a certain trophy, I mean, people will come just for the trophies. Like we talked about. I mean, you are literally going to Galax to try to win you that awesome trophy at Smoke on the Mountain. And you guys, I don't know, are they full yet or?
Yes, they're waitlisted.
But if you want to come help cook some MBM ribs, you are more than welcome.
So shout out to them. Like I said, that them and Murfreesboro, they're the only ones that are doing the MBN KCBS. And no, they doing SCA too.
Yep.
They are.
So I think those are the only two in the country that are doing that. MBN, KCBS, and SCA. I could be wrong. If I am, comment below. Let me know how wrong I am. You and my wife love doing that. But no, man, it's trophies are fantastic, and that's something that, you talked about. In Alabama casino. Help me out, guys.
Pussycue.
Pussycue, man. They had the coolest trophies, bar none, in the country. And they scaled it down technically, but still last year they're still amazing. That first year it was literally like an 8-foot wood carving.
Yeah.
And like the weight 400 pounds. My wife's like, what would you do if you won that? I'm like, I would sleep with that thing and you'd be on the couch. Like I want an 8-foot cow, chicken, and pig in my bedroom. Thank you very much.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. And seems like Russ told me he had to have a front end loader at his house when he got home to get that
I'll rent
trophy off.
I don't care.
It's crazy.
But it is awesome. So we got the trophies taken care of, man. So now the main thing is, what do you think when we've talked about this? How do you think KCBS and they tried this year is to get the public involved? What I mean, obviously the standby tried and true is People's Choice. But I mean that people aren't going to come to a barbecue contest just for People's Choice. That's why a lot of times they tag along with like county fairs and stuff like that. What do you think that we can do as or you can do as host and people across the country can do to get the public involved? I think that's like the $1 million question for KCBS. I mean, Lord, if chess and competitive cheer can do it, I mean, surely the guy we can get barbecue with grills and man stuff. And this is like Man Central. You would think all the dudes in a 90-mile radius would be like classic car show, barbecue contest. I want to check this out.
Well, that's the $1 million question for organizers. I mean, me personally, I don't think unless you've got the team in place, I don't think you try and tackle festival, barbecue competition, everything all at once, because you guys have seen, if it wasn't for the relationship I have with y'all, there's been times y'all would have been ready to kill me with issues. With poor Puck Daddy, 2 years in a row, his powers went out at like 2:00 on Friday in the middle of a cook. We've had generator problems. And, and I've dropped everything I'm doing to try and get that resolved both years. So if you've got a team in place that can be over here handling everything else, a festival, People's Choice is the easy button. Teams will, this year on our application, we didn't even list People's Choice. We waited till the team meeting, and we had a cook team meeting. I asked, who's willing to cook a butt tonight? And I think we ended up with like 20 butts cooked. We went and bought them, and once we're out, we're out. And to me, that's the way you do it. 3 words that I cannot stand. It pushes me away from comps is mandatory People's Choice or mandatory samples. Drives me nuts because especially if I'm cooking solo, you're going to put that on me, and I get it. You're trying to raise money for your cause, but if a lot of your teams will not come back if you do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that plan in place, being transparent with the teams ahead of time. If you're transparent with them, they realize that it's for a good cause. They're going to cook for you. They're going to throw 2 on. You have them sitting there, a good butt. Don't go out and buy some $1.49 a pound trash, bargain butt and expect them to cook it because it's, it may be a terrible product. And if you got money on the line, throw them a Prairie Fresh, throw them a couple of Hormels or something quality, and they'll roll with it. This year, we didn't even do People's Choice. I just said, hey, we're doing samples and we're using that to raise our money. And I feel like teams were more open to cooking because all they had to do was throw it together, put some sauce in it, shred it, turn it in. They wasn't having to worry about doing their best to try and win money. It didn't cost them anything, and something we're working on for next year is having, we've been blessed to have charcoal every year. We've been blessed to have a charcoal sponsor every year to give out at the team meeting. So I felt like that was your compensation for cooking a butt.
Mm-hmm.
But we're working on pellets for next year because so many guys are cooking, throwing them on a pellet smoker overnight. Hey, if you'll cook us 2 butts, we'll give you a bag of pellets.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I think that's the key there is the sales side of it, man. If you've got something to draw the people in, they're going to buy the barbecue. There's no doubt in my mind. Now, you get, depending on your area, Murfreesboro, that area, you can get away with $18-20 a ticket. Our area, man, we had people complaining over getting 8 2-ounce samples for $10. And I'm like, dude, you got almost a pound of pork for $10.
You're right.
You can't drive an hour in either direction and get that. So you're gonna have criticism, and the way I look at it as a trend. As an organizer, I look for trends. One person tells me something, I'm like, okay, thank you for your input. Another person comes up and tells me, okay, you got my attention. When the third person tells me, hey, we got an issue, let's figure out how to resolve it. Otherwise, you'll pull your hair out because you're going to have 20 different people with one single opinion of their own. You can't please everybody,
Sure.
And it just comes down to pleasing the majority. But anyway, the People's Choice is by far the easy money, man. You can easily do 15 to 20 or $1,500 to $2,000 in a day. Justin's on his
Some zingers
pedestal tonight. Yeah,
I like it. That's my job.
and I have heard the contest that he's referencing is looking at doing standard turn-ins this year. I heard
I
that.
don't know why the hell you wouldn't.
Yeah, it'll help me. I'll cook it because we're ambassadoring it at the Jack again. We got asked to do that this weekend, and so I'll cook it again this year, especially if I can get out of there at 12:30. 1 o'clock, I can be gone.
Is that the Jack weekend?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, same weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like an hour. That's like an hour and 15 minutes for me. Now I'm going Jack.
Yeah,
Every year.
I don't blame you. But
Yeah.
the People's Choice, the Bigler is something your area, Murfreesboro, any big city, man, the Biglers come back talking about one in like Maine or somewhere they went to that they had each team cook an additional slab of ribs, cut them, box them, or put them in foil, box them. And after turn-ins, after everything was done, they had an auction. And the teams had to come back in there, and your box numbers order you went in, and you had to get up there and tell everybody why your ribs were the best and why they were worth the most. And they did an auction, and you sold your ribs. And there was ribs that brought $500 for one slab of ribs because they believed in what the people talked about. So I think there's some creativity that can happen where you can raise some money, but you
Mhm.
got to have the team involved to help facilitate all that and the infrastructure to handle it.
I think like something we talked about doing a hog roast. I think that's a fantastic and really cost effective way of getting a large scale amount of people in there to come support your stuff. I mean, I've paid, for charity, but I paid $35-$40 to come to a hog roast for a charity thing before, and a good sized hog will feed a massive amount of people.
Yeah,
and that's what that's what people want. I mean, a hog roast, something like that. I mean, that gives them a show. That gives them, plenty of food. And I mean, honestly, there's never no better pulled pork or barbecue than a whole hog.
Agreed. And that's the conversation we had about. We may not be able to make it happen this May, but it'll happen in the next 2 years. We've already got 5 teams that have said, "Hey, we will forego cooking Saturday, and we'll cook whole hog." And I really think $25 a person is an easy sell for people to come in, and especially when you got a guy standing on one side going, "Here's some loin meat, here's some bacon, this is shoulder," and people get that experience, and you basically get the NBN feel of the finals judging with the public. I mean,
who doesn't love a hog roast? Everybody loves a hog roast, but there's so many things that people have done at contests, and some of it's unnecessary. I feel like they put too much emphasis on unnecessary things that you can spend that money better. But I think you learn that as you grow and as the years go. It's just a learning curve, like you talked about. But I'll be remiss, like I said, we're kind of winding on time, but I'll be remiss, like I said, I definitely appreciate you coming on, and I want you to talk about kind of what's going on in your contest coming up, and we got some exciting TV stuff coming on and all that jazz. So I'm gonna let you kind of do your let the people know what's going on.
We'll run through this real quick, and anybody that doesn't have my contact info, man, hit us on Brothers Q Barbecue Supply Facebook page, whatever. Shoot me a message, and I'll call you. But starting September 12th at Smoke on the Water in Guntersville, we got a Friday night 1 meat rib. Then on Saturday we'll have a 1 meat pork plus a backyard. This is 3 standalone events in one weekend. The goal here is to pull Masters teams in to cook Friday night ribs and Saturday pork. These are all going to be sponsored by the Alabama Public Television. It's called the Great Alabama Barbecue Cook-Off. Now, these are what we're calling qualifiers, but that's the only word what they wanted to use or we could find that made sense. What it's going to do is going to guarantee you a spot to a championship the last weekend in October in Cleveland, Alabama. So if you come in and cook one of these and you get a top 15 finish, you don't have to cook anymore. You're good. You just roll on unless you just want to cook. These will be points eligible. So you have to get with me on the cost, because Guntersville is going to be the trickiest one because there is a camp spot involved. Backyard teams, if you're cooking the backyard, you will get a reduced entry fee for Friday and Saturday. Moving to the next weekend, we're going to Glencoe. Friday Ironman, Saturday ribs, chicken, pork, 1 meat brisket. Look at him go. So we'll do a 1 meat brisket there, and so Masters teams, if you're not eligible to cook backyard, you can come cook one of the coolest contests in the world, in my opinion, on Friday at the Ironman, and stick around and cook brisket Saturday. Following weekend, we're going to turn pages here. We're going to Clanton, down to Dillon's Central Alabama Barbecue Festival. And it'll be a Friday night 1 meat chicken. He's calling it the Friday night Chilton County Chicken Fight. And so we're helping establish 1 meat comps with some of these guys. That'll be the final qualifier for the Great Alabama Barbecue Cook-Off. So you'll have until October 5th as a qualified team to register. Your spot's guaranteed until midnight the 5th. The 6th, it'll open up to the public, and anybody can register to come cook the championship October 25th. Championship will be ribs, chicken, and pork will be the 3 categories. You can cook one or you can cook all. There will be a chicken champion, a rib champion, a pork champion, then an overall Great Alabama Barbecue Cook-Off champion. Now, I will say this. There will be some adjusted time turn-ins here. It's not going to be your traditional turn-ins. So we're really going to try and push teams to you're really going to have to up your game that Saturday. It's not going to be chicken ribs pork. So be ready for that. We want to throw a little twist in there and really make you earn your title that weekend. Now, if you stick around, we're going to do a backyard that Sunday called the Last Chance Points Dance. The way I've got that one set up, you know us, dude, we're all about charity and helping. This one's for the teams. All right. We're taking whatever the entry fees are. We're taking KCBS fees, whatever facility fees we have, trophy fees. That's it. 100% of anything left over is going back in the payout. So the more teams that show up, the bigger paydays we can have for guys. And that's just that was one of them. I wanted to do something to give back. And that's, we do so much for local charity and we do a lot for teams too. But this was kind of my way of saying, look, I'm going to give you all day. It's your last chance of the season in Alabama, in this area. So we really hope that's going to pull the teams in and stick around. But, the thing about the APT, Great Alabama Barbecue Cook-Off, is starting next year. It'll start in the spring and go to a different location around the state. So we're talking with one of them in North Alabama, talking with another one in Central Alabama, and one in South Alabama. So that's the whole plan here, is every year just bounce the qualifiers all around the states where everybody has an opportunity to cook in it. But the championship will always be held the last weekend in October in Cleveland, Alabama.
Good deal.
So that's it.
Well, I'm looking forward to that. I love that you threw pork in there. Because
I know you would.
Free the pork, baby. Free the pork.
He's probably one of the best cooks I've ever met.
Oh, yeah. You can meet more people. But no, man. Well, I appreciate it, man. Like I said, we here right on cue, and just us as being personal. I know I speak for me and AJ both. We appreciate everything you do for the backyard scene, everything you do for the Alabama 256 barbecue community, and what you do for just backyarders in general.
Yes,
A lot of people kind of overlook us, and we have kind of taken upon myself and AJ as well, along for the ride. But definitely champion. There you go. Champion the backyard teams, and definitely appreciate all you do. Get the respect out there, and you definitely have. So guys, like I said, if you're going to get there's a lot of great barbecue supply companies across the country. And if you're on the West Coast or, upper East Coast, I totally get it, buy local. Yeah. I always support that. But if you're anywhere near the Alabama, Tennessee, Georgia line, please support your own Gareth Brothers Barbecue Supply. Use him. He's, take care of you, and we'll do, whatever needs to be done. Great guy, great supporter for the cause. And so just support who supports you. That's what I want to say. Yep. But, man, Gareth, thank you so much for coming on to the show. I appreciate that. It was great hanging out with you this weekend. And I needed that. Mississippi, too. Thank you, Cook Shack. But we appreciate everything you do. And,
yes, sir.
I'm looking forward to seeing you more on the trail, and I'm looking forward to beating AJ's ass at your contest.
That's right. I'm just
later on the year. So
2 for 2, baby.
Yeah, my goal this weekend was to get a 168 or better, which we finally did. My goal for the rest of the year is I got to beat him at least once. I got to get a first place with him second. That's my goal.
That's fine, baby. That's fine with me.
I love being AJ. It always, I ran a half marathon once. They always say
something chasing you or what?
Yeah. I know the police weren't on my tail this time. I actually did it for fun, or that's what my in-laws told me. But no, they say the
you got one of those yet?
I didn't get one at your contest, jackass.
How do you get RGC and don't get it 350?
I'm that good at pork. All right, I'm on my pork pedestal. That's the only reason I won Glencoe is because of pork. But no, man, you got to pick somebody to beat, and there's no better person to beat than AJ.
That's right.
I'm gonna go out and say it. absolutely. If you guys, anybody watching tonight, go out there. If you compete against him, this is the guy you want to beat.
No,
Just
not me.
wipe that conceited, smug look off his face because he thinks he's better than all you guys.
No.
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 So when I got my first GC, man, when I got my first GC, him and Justin were the first two to pick me up and hug me and congratulate me. So I mean, it's family. It's all family. It's like beating your brother. So
I'm just messing. I love both of you guys, but I want to kick your ass every week. But no, man. But that's our show tonight, guys. Thank y'all so much. Gareth, anything else you want to say before we let you go?
Support your local comps, guys. Especially new comps. Jump in there, give them a shot. Don't wait to see who all's going. Just go ahead and sign up and help them one time. Make your decision after you cook, not before. And
that's right.
If you'll do that, we can continue to grow this sport. And pay attention for kids' cues too, because we're about to do something big with kids' cues towards the end of this year. So be watching for that.
Absolutely. But man, guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with us tonight. I know it's been a long 2 weeks without seeing our beautiful faces. I promise you we will get better. Life gets in the way sometimes, and barbecue gets put on the side, but I hate it and I miss you guys. And if you're watching tonight, as always, please, if you enjoyed our content we had on tonight, I think I learned a lot. But make sure you like, subscribe, and follow and share us, man. Because like I said, we're very jealous people, and if you don't like us the most, and just follow us and subscribe us, and we don't know how much you love us until you do those things. So please do all the above, and I truly appreciate you guys. And like I said, as always, when it comes to barbecue, make sure you're always right on cue. See you guys.
That's all, folks.